In this experiment, a student investigating a wind turbine, which is an electrical generator driven by a propeller blade. So like this is a wind turbine. What will happen when we switch on the fan? When we switch on the fan, the air will flow. When the air will move, that air will cause the propeller blade to rotate, because moving air will cause this rotation. And due to this rotation, there inside this turbine, there is a generator connected, and due to change in magnetic field, it produce or induce current, and that current we recorded by using an ammeter. This is a main investigation. The electrical fan below the air, the moving air causes propeller blade to rotate the turbine, and as a result, when the turbine rotates, connected to a generator which produce electricity, and we record the current here. That is a main investigation. So list an additional apparatus. What we need? What additional apparatus we need here? We need the meter rule and an ammeter. No, we are changing the current in electric fan. When we change the current in the electric fan, that change in current in electric fan produce different speeds of air. And that different speed of air cause rotation of a propeller blade, different rotation of a propeller blade. As a result, it will produce different current in ammeter. So this ammeter is used to measure the current which is produced due to change in magnetic field. And there will be a device ammeter here to measure the current in electric fan. So, and how we can change the speed of electric fan? By changing the resistance of electric fan. So the key variable which will control the height of the fan above the bench and the distance of the fan from the propeller blade. Explain how would you carry out this investigation. So how we will do this experiment? So we will switch on the fan, like connect an ammeter to turbine. Then we will switch on the fan. Then we will record the reading of ammeter. Then we will repeat. Whenever you mention repeat, mention the number always. As I mentioned, repeat 5 times, or repeat experiment with different fan speed. And how we can change the fan speed? By changing the resistance of a fan. It can be changed by changing the resistance of fan, and then repeat the experiment 5 times. So repeating experiment 5 times or doing experiment 5 times is always the valid point. So whenever such experiment is there, always mention that you do the experiment, or at least take 5 sets of data, or so 5 sets of result. Then explain how to use a reading to reach a conclusion. So how we can reach a conclusion or use our reading? So we can plot a graph between the fan speed and the current produced in the wind turbine. So plot a graph between the fan speed and the current produced. Or you can mention, and which one is dependent and which one is independent. Look, if we change the fan speed, the current will change. So the fan speed is independent. So if we plot a graph, usually the independent quantity should be on x-axis. So fan speed, which will be meter per second, that is on x-axis. And the current should be on y-axis, because current changes with the fan speed. If I change the fan speed, it will produce different current. If a fan speed is higher, more air will flow, cause a rotation of a turbine faster, induce more EMF. So that's why it produces greater current as compared to a lower fan speed. So explain how you use the readings to reach a conclusion, how you'll write this as an answer. You'll mention plot a graph between the fan speed and the current. You can mention fan speed on x-axis and current on y-axis. That is fine. You can also mention, but best thing is just don't say plot a graph against fan speed and current, because that is, being a science student, physics student, that is not the right way. You should identify like the two quantities, as I mentioned here in these two, fan speed, because when you change the fan speed, the current will change. So fan speed is an independent quantity. So where I should plot? I should plot on x-axis. And the current is a dependent quantity. So where I should plot? I should plot on the y-axis. So mention this point, that plot a graph between fan speed on x-axis and the current on y-axis. And compare the results, like compare the trend, how it is affected. Is it clear, this experiment? How we can identify the changing the fan speed or airflow can affect the current produced?
Yes, sir, clear.
Anyone having a question or doubt in this?